Summer has hardly begun and temperatures are trending towards being hotter than normal, is what the Met Service says. And boy, we can feel it. As we prepare for the imminent rise in temperatures, the JIS encourages you to keep cool and hydrated. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. An informative show awaits. Keep watching.
It's always beautiful in Jamaica. Everything usually be green and pretty. We have beautiful water. Temperature that is normal temperature. The water never cold. We've been into business for about 13 years. JUSC COOL. Just cool. It's spelled with 3 0. We make 3 different types of pudding. We make potato, we make cornmeal, and we make total. This is the cornmeal, okay? That's actually almost the last process. What he's gonna do now, he's gonna put a gel on top. Within no time, he has to take it off because the gel give it a nice taste. We have the people like Shelley and Fraser came here. We have, you could name the biggest artists, Shabba Ranks, name them all. Being the Man, they all come here and buy their pudding. This is what we grew up on. Now, when the people come to Jamaica, everybody, as soon as they land off the plane, this is where they come. They want to taste this pudding because it's bringing them back to the old days. The long time days when they was kids growing up and they used to sit on the fire and watch their mama, their grandmother bake the pudding. We try not to change off our roots, we try to keep it that way. And not only that, we have a lot of love because we're all about love.
The increase in temperatures yearly is largely attributed to climate change, which is caused by global warming. This has a number of effects on all areas across the globe. But let's zoom in on the implications this phenomena has on our island home.
Jamaica is getting hotter. Globally, annual temperatures are rising, with the last few years being the hottest on record. Scientists call this never-before-seen warming of the Earth climate change. Some argue that humans play a major role in the changing climate. In this video series, you will hear about climate change in Jamaica, why it is happening, and how it is affecting our lives. Scientists say that today, the Earth's climate is changing much more quickly and getting hotter more rapidly because of global warming. According to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, global warming results from human activities that increase the amount of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. This means our everyday habits and the ways in which we live our lives are causing the Earth to warm up. Our cars, farms, factories and homes release carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. This contributes to the warming trend being observed in the climate system since 1950. Just imagine for a moment how heat from the sun gets trapped in a greenhouse. In a similar manner, greenhouse gases entering our atmosphere create a blanket around the Earth that traps heat coming from the sun. This blanket of gas reduces the amount of heat that escapes back into outer space, causing the Earth's surface to warm up. We call this the greenhouse effect. For example, the crippling traffic in Kingston does more than just annoy travelers. All of these cars release greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. This is bad for our country. But what does climate change really mean for Jamaica and the Caribbean? Learn more in part 2 of this video.
Jamaica Eye is part of an island-wide network of camera surveillance systems designed to increase the safety of you, our citizens. If you have a camera system outside your home or office facing a public space, join us in helping to make Jamaica a safer place for all. Log on to jamaicaeye.gov.jm today. Jamaica Eye, we're all connected. The Ministry of National Security, creating a safer and prosperous Jamaica.
Children with disabilities caused by spasticity or muscle toning now have hope of overcoming their condition. take a look at medical interventions being made right here in Jamaica to treat this type of muscle stiffness seen in children with neurological conditions such as cerebral palsy.
A mother or father's wish for his or her child. That he or she is happy, healthy, able, and will achieve his or her full potential. Even in the face of disabilities, these aspirations are affirmed with extra care and the outpouring of love in support of children with special needs. And the children themselves, some not able to freely move due to a condition known as spasticity, have strong faith in their abilities. Spasticity, or muscle toning, is a type of muscle stiffness seen in children with neurological conditions such as cerebral palsy.
Cerebral palsy is a name that describes a group of conditions where there's injury to the brain, the developing brain, that occurs during pregnancy, in utero, at the time of delivery, or up until 3 years old. And it affects a part of the brain that controls movement, the motor section.
With the varying degrees of cerebral palsy, some children may have issues with comprehension or understanding. Others have seizures and problems talking, swallowing, hearing, or seeing. Despite the struggles, the possibilities are bright for children living in Jamaica with this and other conditions that affect the ability to walk. Medical interventions are now allowing some disabled children to walk for the first time and for others to walk better, ultimately having an improved quality of life.
I think what we have brought is a comprehensive approach to addressing the problem, where all the medical professionals, including nurses, physiotherapists, occupational therapists, the surgeons, the rehabilitation and specialists and physiatrists, and the neurosurgeons and neurologists have come together, working with the hospital, working with the pharmacists to try and solve the problems of each child individually. So it's not a one-size-fits-all. So for example, in my specialties, some of them may need a surgical procedure on the lower back, which we call a dorsal rhizotomy, where we will resect some of the nerve or divide some of the nerves to allow them to move the legs more freely.
Other options for treatment include injecting the muscles or around the nerves with medication that decrease muscle tone or muscle stiffness. These medications include phenol or botulinum toxin type A, Botox. Specialist teams at the Bustamante Hospital for Children and the University Hospital of the West Indies, along with partners from overseas, have been pioneering treatments for these children.
The children are assessed. They're assessed by the physiatrist, they're assessed by the physiotherapist, and a diagnosis is made, and then a particular treatment is prescribed that's tailor-made for that child's disability.
Assistive aids such as braces, walkers, and other orthotic devices provide important support to children dealing with spasticity and the pain or discomfort it causes.
It's important for children with movement problems to be positioned properly. Without good positioning, the stiffness can pull the joints out of alignment. And so when they're very early, we put them in what we call braces or orthotics. And these orthotics will maintain a proper alignment of the joint, preventing the ankles from being deformed, preventing the fingers from being deformed.
The braces help with standing, balance, and overall mobility.
If you start from toe upwards, you have what we call ankle-foot orthosis. AFO is the quick acronym. You have orthosis or braces that includes the knee, ankle-foot orthosis that allows for stability. You have some that we use at the hip to keep the hip apart. We use some at the elbows as well, or the wrists, so wrist orthosis. Some patients may require spine orthosis. Those are not usually used in the neuromuscular children, meaning the children with cerebral palsy and weakness. And if they are able to stand and balance, they get walkers to ambulate or wheelchairs so the parents and caregivers can carry them around comfortably.
There are several risk factors for cerebral palsy.
The risk factors include poor antenatal care. It also includes children that are born very young, premature delivery, less than 28 weeks, because the brain is very very delicate, and any changes in oxygenation can affect the brain. Low birth weight as well, when children are born very low. Different types of infections can cause it.
And even after delivery, there's the risk from head injury and infections such as meningitis and jaundice, among other things. Doctors say the risk of developing cerebral palsy can be minimized.
Parents need to know that you must have proper antenatal care, proper enough to take the pregnancy to full term, to 40 weeks, so the child's brain and body and blood vessels can develop properly. In addition to that, good health care condition for the mother, and delivery, safe delivery is always important, and postnatally, meaning after they're delivered, is to ensure that the children are healthy, they get their vaccinations, they're not exposed to any infection, there's no trauma to the brain, environment is safe, so you don't have exposure to chemicals that can also cause it, or to accidents or near drowning and stuff like that.
Children's exposure to toxic chemicals such as paints with lead in them, herbicides, pesticides, or household chemicals with pungent odors, either ingested or inhaled, can cause brain damage and must be avoided. Our best option for good health is always prevention, but that aside, effective curative measures offer hope and great joy.
We do have children walking who weren't able to walk before. We do have children sitting who couldn't sit before. I had a patient once where the legs were crossed, scissored we call it, where the legs were scissored at the hips, and the mother wasn't able to clean her properly or carry her. So when she used to carry her in the front. So we injected between the legs, and she came out, she was very happy. I'm like, why are you so happy? She's like, me can lap her now. I said, what do you mean by that? Because we injected between the legs, she could open the legs, so she could now carry her on the side, one foot in the front, one in the back, and a bag.
We hear of another story from Aunt Avia, who cares for her nephew Emilio.
His name is Emilio Morris. He's 12 years old. At one point, his foot was like turning like this. So now the car seat at the Bustamante, he said come back around straight. So now he's wearing a braces. At one point he used to creep, but now he doesn't creep. At one point his knee was very tight, but now it's not so tight. Things kind of better now, being that him get the injection. He used to get fizzy. They want him to stand up in the brace.
Kenil Baker is 13 years old. He was born with cerebral palsy, low motor skills. Basically, he cannot walk without assistance.
We have been coming to this clinic for some time now, where he has gotten injections and has done a surgery, which has helped him tremendously. He could not lay on his stomach. After the surgery, he was able to lay on his stomach and turn over, roll over. He's able to stretch out his hands and legs. And for bathing him, it has been made much easier for caring for him. He could not feed himself. He's trying to feed himself now. Well, you can leave him with food and he will feed himself. He's a very happy child. And we have good support from family and friends. And thank God we do. He's our joy. He's our joy.
It's the time of year when many of us will be out and about. There may be even a few road trips already planned. So, if you drive, this next feature is loaded with information and tips just for you.
I have absolutely no idea what this is or what it's even used for. But today on Autospot, I'm going to be learning all about tires, and who knows, I might even end up changing one myself.
A tire is a ring-shaped component that surrounds the rim, which helps to cushion the road feel and offer traction and stability of the vehicle. You have all-purpose tires which can You can use in all terrain. You have wet tires. For wet tires, it's for like wet road condition. You cannot use a dry tire in the wet season. You get slippage. For the tire to be completely functional, you need the rim. You need air to be inflated in the tire to get it to the correct air pressure so that it's suitable for road condition. A cold tire is when the temperature inside the tire is reduced to like normal road temperature. At that time is the correct time to check the air pressure within the tire to give you an accurate reading. For the hot tires now is when you're driving on the road for a long duration of time and the heat inside the tire builds up and increases the pressure inside the tire. Tire inflation is the pressure inside the tire, which can be in kilopascal, bars, or PSI. There's an instrument called the tire pressure gauge, which I have here with me. You use to take the tire pressure. I can demonstrate for you. First, we'll have to remove the dust cap from off the tire. Place the tire pressure gauge on the tire valve, and it automatically pushes out the tire pressure gauge and give you the correct reading.
The driver still needs to play a big role in the safety of the vehicle on the road. Now, we see a lot of vehicles coming into our premises at our body shop, and we see a lot of accidents that could have been easily prevented. People texting, people not paying due care and attention when they're on the road. Now, Jamaica had over 370 odd deaths last year on the road. There's a big target to get it under 300 this year, and that can easily be achievable if people just pay a bit more care and attention when they're driving on the road.
The tyre normally has a manufacture date on the side. From that date in which the tyre was produced, you can know when the tyre needs to be changed. Within 4 to 6 years of the manufacture date, the tyre is due for replacement.
But what if I'm on the road and I have a flat tire, what do I do?
Okay, the first step is to park the vehicle in a secure location, flat surface. Pull up the emergency handbrake, ensure that the vehicle don't run back or anything. Then you gather your tools, including a jack, lug tool for the job. Alright. Here you have the lug. You're gonna place the lug tool on that, ensure that the correct lug tool is fit perfectly, and you push it down in the anti-clockwise position.
Okay.
And you do that for all 5 lugs.
Okay, and it's usually 5 lugs?
No, some vehicles carry 4, some carry 5, some carry 6. But for this application, it's 5.
Okay. So what else do you do after that?
After you remove your lugs, you remove the complete wheel and you have it all for yourself. Then you go for your spare and place it back on here and screw on back. You tighten back your lugs.
Alright, so this is what you use to tighten it back?
Yeah, this is the lug tool.
So you're going in the other direction?
Yeah, clockwise. Turning. And you always tighten diagonal. Right, you tighten in a clockwise direction.
So which one?
Clockwise.
First?
It can be anyone, but you have to tighten in diagonal. This, then this, and this. Yeah. Cross and cross. So the tire go on, the wheel go on even. And then let down the vehicle, and then you finally torque the lugs to make sure that they are correctly tight.
Where do we usually find the spare tires?
Alright, depending on the vehicle type, sometimes the spare is under the vehicle, and the back of the trunk, or inside the trunk.
So it's not as simple as it seems, but it's clearly doable. It's all in a day's work, well, at least for a newbie like me. But really it should take about 10 to 15 minutes to change. I can promise you there's so much value in learning to get the job done. I certainly feel accomplished.
Up next, a recap of the stories making JIS news this week.
Hi there, I'm Simone Wolf with your JIS News of the Week. The Cathedral of the Most Holy Trinity was full to capacity last Sunday as a grateful nation bade its final farewell to Jamaica's 5th Prime Minister, Edward Seaga.
Out of despair, he gave hope. Out of darkness, he brought light. Out of old cars and shacks, he provided decent housing.
Now we lay you to rest, Papa Eddie. But what you stood for lives on. It lives on in the institutions you have created and the people you have tutored and mentored.
Following the church service, the funeral procession made a 45-minute walk to the National Heroes Park, where Mr. Seaga was laid to rest. In other news, Prime Minister Andrew Holness broke ground on Wednesday for the Morant Bay Urban Center, which is being created at the site of the old Goodyear factory at a cost of $49.8 million.
This is an important project. It is a signal project. It is a project that will say to the people of Jamaica, through the people of St. Thomas, that the government is serious about their development. So we must make sure that this project happens in time and within the budget, and that the people can be proud of this development.
Falmouth now has an $11.5 million traffic signal system, the first of its kind in the parish. The results from the primary exit profile PEP examination were released and revealed that more students had been placed in schools of their preference.
Last year we placed 30,789 students in schools of their preference. This year we placed 32,155 students in schools of their choice.
An e-learning platform and human trafficking survivors handbook were launched this week.
The importance of providing survivors of human trafficking with the necessary information about their rights and the support services available to them in Jamaica cannot be overestimated. In fact, it will play a critical role in their ability to recover from the ordeal and trauma endured during their trafficking episode.
Government will be reviewing the protocol and procedures of the 1997 U.S.-Jamaica Maritime Counter-Narcotics Cooperation Agreement, commonly known as the Shiprider Agreement, to ensure greater protection of Jamaican citizens.
I must underscore that Jamaica takes seriously any semblance of violation of the human rights of our nationals. It is something that we clearly need to do. The agreement does provide for review, and notwithstanding, we think that the matters that have been raised in the public domain justify the types of discussion that we have already started with the U.S. government.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the report on the strategic review of Petrojam will be tabled and debated in Parliament. The Petrojam Review Committee released its report on Thursday.
The report will be made public. And the stakeholders, even though many of them would have had the opportunity to speak to the committee, might want to go public with their views as well. And then we gauge public opinion, engage the public in this conversation, and we make a decision. This is not an unbounded period of engagement. We have some critical timelines on these things because the refinery is now not operating at its fullest.
Government has secured a new S-band Doppler weather radar to replace the almost 20-year-old system currently at Coopers Hill in St. Andrew.
The installation of this weather radar will greatly enhance our ability to achieve our 2030 milestones with its capacity to pinpoint the location and movement of rainfall cells everywhere over the country and as far away as Cayman Islands, southeast Cuba, and western Haiti.
The Petroleum Corporation of Jamaica has signed a contract with Geddes Refrigeration Limited to install energy-efficient air conditioning systems at the JCF's Mobile Reserve Headquarters in Kingston, the Maypen Division Headquarters in Clarendon, and the National Police College at Twickenham Park in St. Catherine. And finally, the Ministry of Health and Wellness is advising the public to take precaution against excessive heat during the summer months, as the country has been recording extremely high temperatures this year.
Restrict activities to early morning and late evening at the cooler times of the day. Drink water liberally. More water than you normally do before, during, and after vigorous activities. Hydrate with cool water, especially when hot and humid.
And those were some of the stories making news this week. I'm Simone Wolf.
For over 40 years, the European Union and Jamaica have enjoyed a partnership built on shared values, trust, and respect. Through a joint cooperation program, the EU is supporting Jamaica to achieve its development goals outlined in Vision 2030. Key areas of support include justice, financial reform, poverty reduction, health, environmental protection, and agriculture. Jamaica and the European Union, promoting sustainable development and creating opportunities for all Jamaicans.
To be the 8th, we have to turn on our AC, because right now we have to install our AC mud, you know, because the 8 mud, you see me? So we have to cool down ourselves, because right now we don't want to catch our heat strokes, you see me?
Just go river, drink of lots of water, naturally, just to beat the heat.
The summer is really hot, so I continue feeding on my water. I eat a lot of fruits, and sometimes I carry my umbrella.
Me and mama try to stay in the cool, drink enough water and wear some simple little clothes when I carry too much heat on it. If you don't do that, you're in a deep trouble.
This straw hat that I'm in, and for my hands, I'm going to buy some socks and cut them and put them on my hands and gloves. Everything I'm going to have on for the heat.
And watch you again. I tell me I'm cool on myself. You have to drink a lot of water too. You see me I said? And go feed, see them, tell the people them drink a lot of fuel and a lot of drink and water. You see me I said? Because the heat strokes mud. So watch yourself and eat. Cool on yourself. Either AC or your water.
We've arrived at the end of Jamaica Magazine for today, but be sure to watch this and other programs uploaded to our YouTube channel. You may also keep up with us via our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter handles shown on screen. On behalf of all of us here at the GIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.